Hey everybody, welcome. It's the Know Nothings Podcast, and I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray, and this is episode 55.
55.
Coming at you live.
I think we're doing pretty good.
It's about time for a publicist. We're ready, we're ready to get beyond 106 views or 4 views or 12.
I think so. I think that's pretty good.
55 is pretty good little traction though. We're on our way to 100. 100's where the magic happens. You get 100 of something done, you feel like you've done something.
I feel like all the setting up of the microphones and all the talking and everything. I think we'll do all right. We may need to go to like where we write maybe down a few things where we say like, hey, we're going to talk about this, but we usually all of these episodes we just start and then that's it.
I think freeform is the best.
Freeform's the best.
Yeah, I think so.
Since nobody really watches, I think it's all right if we talk about the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, plus we enjoy talking about some of the same stuff over and over again. Same stuff with different twists. And hey, we've been doing it long enough now. Even some of our opinions could possibly change on some things, right? Like,
yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah, like I'm all Trump now. So like my opinions have changed, and I'm all in on Trump.
You're all in on Trump.
I shouldn't have started that so early.
Yeah, golly, you went hard. I'm not there yet for sure.
Voting in the primary. I'm going to vote in the primary, March 23rd in Louisiana.
I'm Robert F. Kennedy.
Trump.
Man.
Trump.
I'm sticking with my independent roots. I'm sticking with the roots. Yeah, man. You know, obviously Trump policies are better than Biden's policies, and Biden's a total disaster. But you saw the God video I sent you? That's just
well, that's what happened. The God video where it said God put Trump here to basically make us better human beings. That's what did it for me.
And then God made Trump.
It is a pretty funny. A pretty funny video.
They needed a warrior, so God made Trump. I'm watching this. I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm sure it plays with his base. I'm sure it's good.
Somebody has a lot of time on their hands, though. That's just somebody has a lot of time to
posted
put those
that, right?
videos.
Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, he's got a lot of time on his hands, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think Donald Trump Jr. will ever run for anything?
No, I don't think he's got that je ne sais quoi that his father has. I don't think he's got that whatever that it is that you can't ever quite put your finger on.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much I hate Trump, because like I see for what it is, like, but I do like some of his policies. But him personally, I mean, it is what it is. To me, it's like pretty clear.
Well, I don't like all those people. But with your guy,
I don't really have a guy. I don't really like. You'll never see me in like political attire.
But like Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how
Vivek
truthful he is, and I like Vivek a lot too. But
I like Vivek a lot.
Maybe Vivek should be the vice president when Donald Trump wins.
I tell you what I like about Kennedy is that I just like that he says things that need to be said that people are scared to say, and he does it in a professional way. And he does it in a way that everyone can understand what he's saying. He does it. Yeah. He articulates himself well. He knows what he's talking about. He's clearly studied on the topics, right?
Right.
Now, Trump's deal is a little different, right? Like Trump is a master at knowing how to get his people excited, knowing how
gets me excited.
He's got
gets me real excited.
He's got really good comedic timing. He does he's got fantastic comedic timing. But just being a good comedian or being good, like he can work a room, right? Like you can really work a room.
He works rooms.
He works a room well. But I'll give credit where credit's due. The people that love him, they fucking love that dude.
Yeah.
Like it's a love like I've never seen.
It's all about policies for me. And also,
you should be a Robert F. Kennedy guy. Or is there something you don't like? Is there?
Well, I've seen.
There's nobody's policies you're gonna love all of them, right? Like, and neither one of us like politics enough to really have a guy. Right.
I don't really have a guy.
Here's what I feel.
I'm kind of being funny too about the whole thing, but like
you're doing it really just to push my buttons. So
I want to hear you get going.
Yeah.
I want to see you get going about it.
But the thing about here's my thing. Here's my take on the thing about having a guy, right? Like if you put too much faith in any human, right? Like now we have to do that with like our wives and our children and our girlfriends. Like we're gonna like love those people unconditional. Our dogs, perhaps. But when you put all your love into like a celebrity or damn sure a politician,
Oh yeah.
There's like 100% chance you're going to be let down. They're not going to be. They're never going to be the person you think they should be.
When did you think that like politicians became rock stars? Like, was it because of the internet?
The first one was Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton was the first like rock star president. He's the first president where you felt like rock stars wanted him in a room, right? Like if a bunch of rock stars in a room and he showed up in a room, the room would somehow get cooler because a politician entered. That was never really the case.
Yeah, and he'd play the saxophone and be like, "This is the blues rear for B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up."
Yeah. Get after it. And he played it up. He was the first one to kind of do. He kind of embraced late night, and Obama was the first one to kind of embrace social media, and but Trump has taken it to a level that I don't know that we'll ever like. We're never gonna see again in our lifetime people wearing like clothes of a politician flying on a bald eagle with a 3% body fat, 20-inch bicep, hoisting an American flag with just like Trump's magnificent orange hair flowing in like we're never going to see there were people you'll see people like in like college, you used to call it like double lettering, like when people wear like their fraternity shirt and like their fraternity hat and be like, "Oh, that's a little much, guy." People with him were like quadruple letter. They're like Trump pants. Now he's got his own shoes. You saw his shoe line.
I saw the shoes. Sold out.
Well, of course,
that's right.
Of course they sold out. $400 to
$400 for shoes for those shoes.
That's cheap when you look at like Yeezys or something like that. Like, yeah, $400.
Didn't it when he
They're
did?
gold, Mike,
but remember when he
gold.
did the NFTs though? But like people made money off those.
I don't think anyone
They were
did.
worth.
Did anyone make money?
He sold all of them, and then the people that didn't buy them bought them for way more money.
What's a Trump?
Don't fact check me on
What's
that.
a Trump NFT going for these days? Got to be like 5 cents.
I don't know. Speaking of, you're all about the crypto and it's banging.
Man, it is time for a crypto bull run. So like every 4 years, you're gonna have this. You had it in 2020.
Yep.
You had it in like 2016, going into 2017. It's happening again. If you're not in on crypto, we might make the whole episode about this. Everything is about to run, and when I say run, it's gonna run like it ran in 2019, 2020, where people are getting on almost any crypto this week. You would have made 30% gains. You could have just picked one randomly because Bitcoin's flying again. It's at 63,000. All time is 69,000.
Oh,
It's fixed to blow by the 69,000 all time high.
Well, it's like everybody was saying in 2020 that Bitcoin would be $100,000 in however many years, and it probably will be.
This is that time. Bitcoin will be $100,000 by the end of 2025, maybe before, but before the end of 2025, it'll be $100,000
Why do you think that is?
because it's a bull. It's a cyclical. I mean, it just goes with the Fibonacci sequence and charts. And
So is the
BlackRock.
so are stocks like gonna go? Because remember when it would happen,
Yes.
stocks go down, crypto
Yes.
goes up.
Yes, BlackRock owned last week. I think BlackRock owned 0 Bitcoin. I think today BlackRock owns 129,000 Bitcoin.
So you just follow the money.
Follow the money.
That's the money.
Nancy Pelosi just made a big play, not with crypto, but she made a big stock play that's gonna like. I forget what it was for, but if you invest with Nancy Pelosi, you're in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I went on that thing that shows everybody like what everybody's doing, and like a lot of those stocks that I tried to buy, it said I couldn't buy them. There were like a bunch of different stocks that I couldn't buy. I tried to buy.
you can't buy them, but they can buy 'em.
They can buy them, but I can't buy them for some reason on whatever I'm buying them with. So I don't know. It just kind of seems unfair to
Yeah.
me. To me.
It is unfair. It's certainly unfair. The whole shebang's unfair. But crypto is fair. People can make money in crypto. I don't think do not watch from the sidelines right now. If you watch the last bull run, if you're young and you're just now getting to where you can invest, don't miss out. Just put $10 a paycheck or $20 a check. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but this is definitely what I would do. Like buy crypto in the end of 25. If you can buy it and forget about it, if you're using $20 or $30 and can forget about it, and go to like 2030, you'll really gonna, because you'll probably catch 2 bull runs in that, right?
Yeah.
You'll catch this one that runs to 2025. It'll hit a bear market again, 2026, 2027. It'll pull back a little, but
And you just keep adding as it pulls back, and then when it hits again,
buy it low.
There's your money.
And it'll run again 2028, and then run from 2028 to 2030. Like, now this stuff's been around for what, 15 years,
Yeah.
16 years?
Yeah.
So, you can kind of start seeing patterns, and the patterns are pretty clear. Yeah. But I mean, when Bitcoin was at 16,000 earlier this year, now it's at 63,000.
Yeah.
What do people have to see?
Right. Did I miss the bus?
Doge,
Did I miss the bus?
Doge is up at 13 cents.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oof. If you were holding on from back in the day, you're sitting pretty right now.
Yeah. No, I held 1,000 with what's that, like $190 or $100 worth of Doge.
Yeah.
I kept that just like, I was like, I'm going to keep this 1,000. Maybe in 15 years it's going to be worth, maybe it's worth some money. Maybe it's worth $1,000, and I just held $100. Now I'm going to add to it.
Just keep adding.
When it's up to 13 cents.
Keep adding. It'll go up and down and up and down and pop up.
The thing about crypto investing, if you invest in crypto, you can't be a weenie. You're going to have days where you lose 30%, 23%, 15%. All this shit that's not normal in like normal markets is kind of normal in crypto.
Right.
So like when you see stuff run like it's ran the past 3 or 4 days, there's going to be a pullback. So right now, like if you were investing today is the 29th of February, hold tight, let it pull down a little bit for a couple days, boom, throw in.
Right on.
Ride it back up.
Yep.
I like XRP a lot. I know some people are in, some people are out. I like Cardano a lot. I think Doge is fun. I'm going to keep a little bit of Elon too. Did you ever buy any Elon back in the gap?
I did.
Dogelon Mars.
Yep. All that.
Did you,
whenever it came through, I did buy all that. But then I got into where I sold it all, and I'm sitting on zero right now, just because I don't like cryptocurrency.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. I made money off of Doge, and then I made my money and I jumped out, and then I was just out. I felt like I lost faith in it, or it just didn't seem worth it to me. This is what I've been doing on Webull. I have there's these things called they're like Wefolios or Webfolios or whatever, and you can pick a bunch of different stocks to put in a grouping, and then put money into it. So I pick a bunch of different industries like AI industries or like planes, people that build bombs, all that stuff, and I put them in different categories, and then I sit and watch what it does. And I've actually got one right now that's like 30. It's like it says winning 30% of Wefolios. So it's actually doing 30% is pretty good. With
30%
there's millions and millions of Wefolios people put together, and it's doing. So I've been putting my money into that.
What's the Wefolio? It's stocks?
It's stocks, and you group them together in Webull, and then you like put a percentage, like 10% each. Yeah, you make them. Like say you want to do technology. So you do, what do? You do Meta. Oh, look, you got to push this towards you. Yeah. You got so like you do like Meta. You do all the Microsoft, all those, and put them all into one folio, and then I won't invest immediately. I'll look and see what it does, because it'll show you how it's tracking in like a couple of weeks, and then you see how it's tracking, and then you can put your money in it. So like that's what I've been doing. And the new one I did was on my JP Morgan Chase. They have like all these stocks in a list that like what they say that are like good stocks to put in. So I took all of those and put them in one of them, and I'm going to watch it for a while and see what it is, see what it does. So you go in there and you put the percentage of which ones you want in those stocks. So like 10% each, or you can say you can put a bunch of them. I think you can only put like 30 in one. So I put the 30 in that Chase said to do, and it gave me like 3.33% on each one of them. So you throw $100 at it a week, and it puts 3.33% in each one of those stocks. Now it'll only let you put stocks on there that you can buy percentages of, because like if like something's $600 for one stock, but they let you buy a percentage of it. They let you put that in there, so you're buying a percentage. But it just adds up. So you just keep throwing money into that, and then that's what I'm doing right now.
That's pretty
See
cool.
where it goes. It's pretty neat.
And you create
it's on
your own.
And you create your own. It's on Webull.
Yeah.
I don't know if any other lets you do that.
I throw a little bit at like some blue chips like Coke and Home Depot and that type of stuff, like ETFs basically. Or I throw a little bit at ETFs. I got a couple stocks I like, and then. I can't. The same thing with crypto. Like, I don't really have any Bitcoin. Like, I have like Bitcoin, you know it's gonna run. Like you're like it's gonna go to 100,000, but then you're like, that's only like 50% growth. I don't know if that's gonna.
Right.
It's so stupid because like 40 or 50% growth is good, but I want like 10,000% growth.
Right.
I'm so
It's just
stupid.
not going to happen.
Well,
I mean,
it does happen, and that's the thing because you remember when. Okay, do you remember Shiba?
not often.
Do you remember Shiba in 2020?
Oh yeah, Shiba Inu.
And then Shiba Inu came along. I mean, when it was hitting like 1,000% gains. Of course, I had like $3 in it, but $3 bought you like a million shares when it first came out. But people that had $500 in that, man, they made a bunch. And then we know what happened with Dogecoin. We know what happened with AMC. Those things were fun. They're fun. It's fun to chase the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's way more fun, right? You got to admit, it's way more fun and addictive to chase. It's just to say, okay, do you gamble at all? Have you ever have you ever like sports gambling?
No, I've
Okay.
never gotten to that.
So I was a huge like degenerate gambler, and the reason
Do you want me to put a song on while I?
no, man. And when you're gambling like that, the same reason you bet on parlays is the same reason you bet on meme stocks. Like, the odds of those parlays hitting are slim to none, almost none. But you do it anyway because it's going to pay you like 10 to 1 or 15 to 1, or you may do like a 8-leg parlay where you're going to pick a receiver to go for 70 yards and a running back to go for 110, and the game's going to go over, and a field goal kicker is going to make at least one field goal over 30 yards, and the coin toss is going to be heads, and you're going to pick all these random things that by themselves they seem like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Of course that's going to hit. Of course it's going to hit, but it's not going to hit, and that's the reason. That's the reason that you do it, because it's fun to chase what you know is not going to hit. But it's the idea that, oh my God, I want to put $10 on this, and if I hit this sure thing, like this is a thing that probably could. This is the thing that could probably hit. I'm going to put $10 on it, and it's going to pay me 100 to 1. That's the reason people bet parlays, right?
Right.
Like 8-leg parlays, they're never going to hit. But when you're looking at it, you're going, okay, I need this receiver to get 50 yards. That seems likely. I need this running back to get 30 yards. That seems likely. I need a field goal over 40 yards. Yeah, we'll do that. I need the coin toss to be heads. I need the game to go over 56, and I need the quarterback to throw for 200. All those things sound super easy by themselves, but when you parlay them together, they're almost impossible for all of them to hit. But why do you think people bet those more than anything, though, on like FanDuel? Because it's like a meme coin. Because if they hit it, their $10 is going to pay them $1,000, and that's way more fun than saying, "Yep, the Eagles are definitely going to beat the Jets. I'll bet $50 on that and win 40."
Right.
Like, no, that's just not exciting.
I don't know. I don't like to gamble my money away, and I feel like all this stuff is gambling. I feel like stock market's gambling, and unless you're just on a slow grind and you're getting in the you're going to put $50 a week into something in the stock market, and then 20 years from now, you'll have that money.
$50,000.
Yeah.
And that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But the fun
It's
thing,
so hard.
The
The
fun
fun
thing
thing.
to do is to throw like $300 at Doge Lawnmowers, $500 at Shiba Inu, and hope one of them turns to 80,000.
I've just like things are too good to be true, and I'm living my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm living my life reasonable now.
They're not. It's not going to happen, right? Like probably, or it happens to somebody. It's not going to happen to you. Just like all it takes is for somebody tweets out, "Oh, Bob Smith in Bozeman, Montana hit a 22-leg parlay today on FanDuel, and he won $3 million on his $10 bet." That's all it takes is to read that tweet and go, "That could be me."
That's not it. That could be you, but all it takes is like when you go to the casino, and you play and you hit and you turn $100 into $1,500, and then you're hooked. That endorphin rush that you get from winning money off of something is what gambling's all about. It's all about, okay, I don't really like football, but I'm gambling on it. Now I'm like yelling at the television, and I'm like, because I want to win money, and it's more important. And then when you win, it's like, I'm a winner, and it feels so good to win.
Well,
it feels good to win.
Think how good it feels to win like $1,000 on $10 because you hit this ridiculous. Seven things in a row happened.
It's like I told you the other day. I went to Horseshoe Casino and went to the same thing. I went to the same slot machine, and pulled that slot machine 4 times. I took $100, and this was like every month I'd go. So like I went, and then I put $100 in. I'm hitting it. I got up to $800. I pulled it out. We left. Had a great night. Paid for the hotel.
How long were you there?
An hour and a half.
Okay.
Like an hour.
Perfect.
Hour and a half. Left. Went to the bar. Went to the hotel. Paid for it. Went home with some scratch in my pocket. A month later, I go back to the same spot. Do it again. I did that 4 times. There was one time that I went. I think it was the 3rd time I went, and I'm playing, and I popped up, and I had Kylie sitting beside me on the other machine, and I was like, let's hit the, like by the 3rd time, 4th time, I was like, let's go hit the ATM, because this thing is all, I'm like, just, I can't lose. I'm like manifesting me winning this thing, because I walk in with $100, like I'm walking out with $800. Mm-hmm. No, like I don't care, like I'm walking out with $800. And so I go in, I get like $250 up. I cash out. I'm like, watch the machine. I go, I get my money, I come back, I put $100 back in it, start pulling it, goes up, $200, cash out, go get my money, watch the machine, come back. This lady that works there with a headset on sees me, and she walks by, and she looks at the machine like this, and then she like, I'm like at $1,250 right now. I'm like at $1,250. She says something into her like radio,
little CB.
like her little radio, and then at that moment, it started just giving me bullshit, and I went from like $1,250 to $900, and I was like, time to go. She just called in, and
she was like, turn it off, turn it
yep,
off,
turn it off. They turned it off, and
think
like
that's real? That's
I
not
think
real.
that's it's 100% real, 100% real.
I'm not saying. I thought it's real that like the machines are like. I think they're aren't they programmed to be like on after so many spins it's going to pay out this much money, and that's what the program is.
I think they have complete control over it, because you're not going to beat the house.
But if they had complete control, the legality of doing that would be so massive.
Do you know the legalities of it? I'm not the gaming commission. I don't know what it is.
I just no, I don't. I just have to assume.
I feel like it's a business, and there are certain things that they can do.
Yeah, but I don't think one of those things would be like turn off the money spout to Mike.
They straight up turned it off.
I'm not saying I don't believe you, because even when you told the story, I'm like, well, that sounds totally believable.
Yeah.
But it seems also unbelievable. Like, well, could that really?
Oh, 100%. They turned it off.
Did you?
I was like edging up to get that like cross. It would like come up. It would like come up where the cross section. I forgot which was 1 and which was 2. Is it me or you? You're 1.
Yeah.
Look over here.
Yeah.
You're 1. I'm 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was edging towards like within the hour me getting, and I started betting like the big money,
Max, yeah.
not the max on every one of them. And I was just hitting the button on the max, right? Hitting the button on the max, and it kept spinning up and barely getting like the big payout, and like it hit, and I'd get 100 credits. It hit, and I get like 25. It hit, and I'd lose 20. It hit, and I get 100. It was spinning up to get like a ton, and then she walked by and was like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr,"
Shut her off.
and
shut
it
her
was
off.
done. I'm telling you, it quit doing that. It just started coming up like they hit a reset button, and it said, crap. I lost like $250, and I'm out of here. Like, I'm out of here. I'm cashing out. Boom, I cashed out and took my money.
That's a smart thing to do. That's why the casinos hate Dana White. You know how he plays, right? Like
No.
he isn't like it's
He
not
wins
fun.
his money and he bounces.
But
That's what I do.
But he goes and bets like 50,000.
Well, I ain't got Dana White money.
Well, he bets the reason they hate him, he bets 50,000 a hand. He loses 100,000, loses 200,000. Then he wins.
Bam.
Another 50,000, then wins. I'm up 50K.
Bam,
Here.
I'm out. 50K. God, I wish I could win 50K on something. That would be so great. Pay your
He's-
taxes.
I
Do you pay your taxes right then? Can you pay your
Yes.
taxes
Yeah,
then?
I've had to pay taxes multiple times.
Oh,
Table games is 10,000 plus. You pay taxes, and slots are 1,200. If you went on the slots, they walk right up to you with a W-2.
Never. That makes sense, because I got up over 1,200, and then she walked by and like was and then was like,
She might have been saying we're about to have to do the tax.
She might have, but
they
I still.
she has to go to the office. They stop you. She goes to the office, gets the tax forms. They come out and do all the paperwork with you when you cash out.
Yeah.
If you
Okay,
cash out,
that might have been what she was saying, but it locked up and it was done, and I knew it was done because it was about to hit the big
she
time.
was like, I think we're out of tax forms in the office. Could you just make sure he loses down to 12?
And I'm not a big like gambler. I haven't been back in like a year. We haven't been back in like a year.
Me neither, but I love it.
I don't like losing my hard-earned money. I work hard for
I hate that. But
my money.
But that's why I haven't been in forever. I haven't had enough hard-earned money to go spend gambling. But boy, when you win, it's yours.
Oh, well, yeah, when you win, that's why you go. That's the gambling is like, that's why it's like such a thing. It's such a vice to gamble.
I've won 10,000 probably 6 times. I've won 30,000 one time. I've won 10,000 or more 6 or 7 times. I've won 30,000 one time.
Where'd you win 30,000?
Horseshoe.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
30 grand.
I've never told you this story.
No, tell this story.
Wait, I've never told you this story.
You know, please.
It's a really tremendous story.
I'll
tell it if
you got to
we've
tell
got
it.
time on the podcast. Right?
Oh, we got all we got as many hours as we want.
It's probably my favorite story of all time.
Oh, awesome! Let's hear it.
All right, so you remember in Louisiana they used to have the video poker everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was at the airport lounge. If you remember the airport lounge, I was playing some video poker, drinking. It's about midnight-ish, and boom, I hit roll flush $500. Oh yeah, cool. Which I did all the time because I was always playing video poker back then. Go to the next one, boom. I hit another, I think, 5 of a kind, $500. I have $1,000. So I'm like, shit. So the gin's kind of flowing a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I was like, shit. I was like, I'm fixing to go to the casino. Anybody want to go with me? This girl and this guy who I barely knew, right? They were like, we'll go. I was like, get in the car. Boom, we head to Shreveport. They were just building the Horseshoe Casino, okay? They were just building the Horseshoe Casino. It hadn't quite got, didn't have all the floors up and all that good jazz. It was still in construction, but they had the casino floor open. Anyway, we pull up the Horseshoe, drinking, partying, playing, losing here, losing there. It's about 6 in the morning. I'm kind of playing on my money. They're the girl and guy that came with me. I don't even remember their names. They're walking around like I really barely knew them. So anyway, they were like, the girl and the guy were like, "Hey, we're gonna go get breakfast." I was like, "Cool. When y'all come back, we'll be ready to roll. Head home." Been drinking gin and tonic this whole time.
Right.
And I'm feeling great. So anyway, boom, I hit a slot machine for $1,000. I had maybe 300 or 400 left from the 1,000 I'd won at the airport lounge. Hit a slot machine for $1,000. Boom. I was like, shit. I was like, that's my sign. Let me get out.
Time done.
I get my money, but I had a loose $100 bill. Cashed out and went to the blah blah blah. So I go to roulette. I think I had $200. Played the 100 in chips, lost all that. I had a $100 bill left. Remember, they're building the Horseshoe Casino. This is where the great story starts.
Right.
So I had the $100, and I was like, "Hey," "here's my contribution to the construction. Put $100 on Black 35. Y'all have a good night." Threw it down. Turned to walk off. Sir. I turned, stop right. He's like, "You sure you want to walk off?" I turn around right then. Ball drops. 35. Boom. 30 pays me $3,500.
Oh my god.
So I take $100. I'm sorry. I take $1,000 on black,
Yeah.
and I put $100 on every black number. So I've got $2,700 on the table. I think I hit like 22 times in a row. At one point, I had like $57,000.
Oh my gosh.
The entire casino, which was only about 80 people because it was early, it was 6:37 in the morning. The entire casino had stopped. People were standing on chairs cheering for me. This is like starting at about roll 6. So every time I win, right, it's paying me $3,500 on the number and $1,000 on black. So
Right.
it's paying me $4,500 and it's collecting $1,600. So I'm hitting like $2,800 a roll. So after I do this 6 or 7 times, I'm talking mad crazy shit, right? I'm like, I can't be stopped. I can't be beat. Nobody can beat me. I'm the baddest motherfucker alive. Just talking shit. They're still at breakfast. I tipped the waitress I ended up tipping the waitress about $2,500. I tipped the dealer like $5,000. I'm playing. I tell the pit boss, I'm like, "Hey," I was like, "we either get rid of this table maximum bullshit or I'm leaving." He's like, "Get rid of the table maximum." They knock it. So now,
No way.
So I start going. I mean, I'm putting 15, 20,000 a roll.
Oh my
I'm drunk.
god.
I'm young, and I've got every purple chip, which are $500, every black chip, which is $100. They're just falling over in like a mound of money. I'm throwing chips, like throwing $500 chips at the server. She's just walking around with a gin and tonic for the whole time for me. Rolling, talking, running my mouth, blah, blah. Anyway, after I end up tipping everybody, the last roll, when I finally lost, I had like 20 grand out there. So this tells you
That's awesome.
I give all these people this money.
Mm-hmm.
The guy and girl return from breakfast after it's all over. Everything's done and over. I've got just bulging pockets of money. And they walk up. I give each of them $2,500. They're like, whoa, what is this? Like I said, barely knew them.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this? I was like, I just want a lot of money. I don't even couldn't even count it really. And so it's just my pockets are bulging with purple and black chips. I go to I cash out. Into the whole shooting match ended up being, I left with $30,000. I bought a Mustang Cobra.
Oh, that's awesome.
And cash money. So when I go to buy the Cobra, because I'm like 21,
yeah.
I go to buy this Cobra, and they're like looking at me like, how the hell is this kid going to finance this? So I pull out a wad of like Scarface money. I was like, oh, we're not going to have any problems. They were all like, everybody in that car thought I was a Coke dealer.
All right.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. I can't believe you never told me that story. That's fucking awesome.
I've lived a somewhat boring life, and then I've lived somewhat of an exciting life. I have about 20 to 30 stories that I rarely tell because they're so fantastic. They're so outrageous and so wonderful that they sound like bullshit.
Yeah.
And when I tell a story, a fun story, I can get excited. If you can get excited, it could seem like you're bullshit. So I don't want people to be. I don't ever want my friends to be like, that guy's always lying about.
Right.
These are not like I don't tell lies, and I just got to keep some of these stories. That's why I'm like, have I ever told you this? Because usually I'll tell somebody after we've been real close to them for 10 years or so. Like, I'm shocked
That's
I haven't
awesome.
told you yet.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that one. No, I have stories like that where, like, with the band, like the band is like, oh, we played in front of 30,000 people. Like, I don't ever tell those stories because people always like, I was in a band once. Yeah, and it's like, oh, whatever.
Or they're like, I've never heard of you.
I've never heard of you.
Or like, or like, oh yeah, I'm sure a kid won $30,000 in cash and he just bought a Cobra. It sounds like a book, right? It sounds like a. I have, a lot that time we were telling those. I was telling you some tales from like
being a kid. Yeah,
those are.
I love those. I love you guys running around the neighborhood because I have a thing outside where I keep like stuff in, and you were running around the neighborhood grabbing beers from people's their freaking refrigerators that are outside and drinking beers. That's awesome.
Sure, and I kept so much out of the podcast because some of it, I'm telling you, it was so out there that if you say it out, even when I say it out loud, knowing that it happened, I'm like, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
It's not. It's just definitely not. But then that was the greatest. That year was probably the funnest year of my life. So everything I touched turned to gold. Nothing bad was happening to me. Everything good was happening to me. I would just I would just walk in. I could walk in somewhere with $10 and be like, and I would just hit a jackpot. Like, it was just a fantastic. I was making money. I was winning money. Life was just fantastic.
You know why?
One good year, 1998.
You know why?
Why?
Because when you're manifesting things and you're young, you never think about negative stuff. Like you said, $10, I'm going to win. What you walk in, you don't even think about it. And you just do. You don't think about the negative side of it. So, because like we were talking about manifesting things in our lives, and I've manifested negative. I manifested some negative things that happened to me. It just depends on how you're manifesting them. So you have to do it right.
I'm going to tell you that it's so cool that you say that, because in that year, and maybe it's maybe like an 18-month time frame there, 97 to like maybe early 99. I mean, I was just on this hot streak of life. I mean, if it's because I had no negative energy anywhere in my orbit, right?
Right.
Like, I had this confidence that was almost contagious. Just this crazy feeling of confidence, and that you could do anything, and that you could conquer anything, and that everything was going to go your way. And I had no thought.
Right. There
No
was no
thoughts.
negativity or thoughts. There was zero thoughts. It wasn't like, man, if I go in here right now, I gotta win this. I gotta. No, if you gotta, then you're not gonna. It's not gonna happen.
It wasn't just
it's not
that.
gonna happen.
It wasn't just that. It was just like friend groups and dating and women and gambling and work and everything you could think of was just boop 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 boop, just falling in place. Then it all kind of fell apart. Then bad shit started happening. Then I did start getting negative, and then like, oh God, all the good luck runs out. Like the Cobra I tell you I bought. So the Cobra I buy with cash, I end up wrecking that after I drink a little too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
totaled my Cobra. The cops don't like it when you do that, so you end up in another negative situation. Right?
Oof, yeah, like the downward spiral.
The downward
of
spiral
negativity.
So all the good that could ever happen to me from like 97 to like late 98, and then I'd say but I'll say this, even like when I totaled the Cobra, so I only had the Cobra for a month after the gambling wins, and I totaled it. Even that, with that bad luck, I made like $6,000 or $7,000 on the deal because the insurance gave me like $7,000 more than I'd paid for 30 days earlier.
Oh wow!
So I made
money.
Deal I made $7,000 on, right? Like it's like I was like, I can't even fuck up wrong right now. Like that's kind of how I felt. It's fun. I think everybody gets a moment like that, don't you?
I think so too.
Let's call your 15 minutes.
Well, maybe not everybody, but most people.
I think everybody gets a little run of life. A couple years where just everything goes right, and I think, once you live long enough. Now that's just 27 years ago or 26 years ago. Now I've seen all the ebbs and flows of life, right? Like you're gonna experience a lot of the downward.
Right. I don't know. Everybody, my entire life, from when I was a kid, told me I was special. Yeah. And I had to live up to that. Like everybody told me I was special. Everyone.
That's a lot of pressure.
I had teachers that I went through my thing and found all these notes from teachers over the years when I was like in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade that were like, sometimes the teachers have an impact on students, but you are a student that has an impact on teachers and you're special and blah, blah, blah. Like all this pressure. So like I'm growing up and everybody's telling me how special I am. And I don't know what that is. Yeah. But and so I'm walking with all this energy that says that I'm like something.
Yeah.
So and I was like, well, what does that mean? And when I went into music and learned music, went in a band, signed a record deal, and then that all went to shit. But I was like, when I was doing that, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the special thing.
This is my special.
This is my special thing. Yeah. This is why everybody told me my entire life I'm special. But like everybody, aunts, uncles, everybody. Parents, everybody, teachers, everybody said I was special. And it was like, so I'm walking around thinking I'm special. Then I get older and I realize that everybody's just everybody.
Everybody's got.
And I was like, well, what the hell is that all about? Yeah. Why such by now I'm supposed to be like Elon Musk or something. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
They should have lowered the expectations
a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean.
See, my dad would just tell me that I would every time we'd pass the people holding the road sign, the slow stop.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "That's what you're going to be doing, holding the slow stop signs." So I was ingrained with I was ingrained with the opposite thing where I was like, no matter what I do, because I would always think, because I'd be like 5th grade. Now he was just being humorous, right?
Right.
He was fucking with me because I was a hyperactive child,
right?
Who didn't.
I was hyperactive too.
But I also had a disdain for authority.
Here, let me just interject real quick on this. I was hyperactive and I was in everybody's face, and some grown-ups are like, "Oh, this kid's special," and then some people are like, "Get this kid out of my fucking face."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure there were people that were like that. But I paid no attention to them because there was so much positive energy coming towards me saying I was special.
Yeah.
And my dad too, though. My dad too was I think he kind of counteracted it a little bit, maybe.
He should try to humble you.
I go to my dad and I would be like, "Hey, Dad, I want to be a archaeologist, and I'm running around the yard with a whip. I think I'm like Indiana Jones. I'm 11."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Everything's been found, Mike. everything's been found. You don't want to do that. You want to be an archaeologist. So I'm like, oh, everything's been found. Oh, hold on. I want to be a pilot. I think I'm going to go in the Air Force. You're going to be too tall for that. You're going to be too tall. You're just way too tall for that. Look how tall I am. Look how tall my brothers are. That's not going to work out for you. You know, Mike, the world needs ditch diggers too. You're going to, the world's going to need some ditch diggers. That's got to be a thing. So it's like the dream crusher.
So,
like why would you
So
as
your dad was putting that on you too then, right? You were going to be a ditch digger. I was going to be well, here I was going to hold the slow stop stuff.
I'm being funny. He was supportive, but like it seemed like every time I was like, I want to do this, he was like, you don't want to do that.
My dad would say, I'm going to hold the slow stop sign.
Right.
Except, and he'd say, except you won't know which one's which because you won't be able to read either side. And I'd be in like 4th grade and I was thinking like, I can read it like a 12th grade level. What the fuck is he talking about? I would just sit back there so confused.
Oh, and
because I was a hyperactive bad kid who wasn't good with authority, and he was trying to tell me like if I didn't get my shit together, this is what I was going to do, but it would be confusing to me because I was like, I don't think I'd have to do that.
I'm working on my Type 5 with that. Obviously, I'm like playing around with it because I would love to go do like a bit about my dad, and because like one time me and my sister, I was in high school, and Dad, I love you because he watches this. I love you. But like he comes in from a hard day's work, and I completely get this.
Now you get it, right?
I completely get this. Me and my sister are sitting on the couch laughing our asses off at some TV show, and he comes in. He was the boss of where he worked, and he probably had a shitty day because he had bosses, but they weren't there. He was the big boss, and he comes in and he sees us laughing, and he goes, "All of this is because of me. All of this is because of me." And then he just goes into his bedroom, and we're like, "What's going on right now?" He's aggravated, and I get it. And he was so right. He was so right about it.
You haven't done shit to earn it.
I haven't done anything to earn having a pool out back, watching a big screen TV, and laughing my ass off when he's just had the shittiest day of all time, and he comes home and sees me and my sister just having a grand old time, and we have no idea what kind of shit he's eating.
Yeah.
For us to live the way we're living, he's like, all of it's because of me, and I get it because I lived it and I did it. I raised 2 kids.
I know. Once you raise kids, it's totally different, right? Like when. I'll say this. So I raised 2 boys and a girl, and the whole time, all the way through, and my oldest son's who I mean, he's pretty wild and free spirited, right? But
he's awesome.
He's awesome. But all I could ever think was,
what's he gonna do?
No, I would think, oh my God, I was like, no matter what they do, it's nothing to like what I like. They don't do anything as like I did. Like I was such a terrible teenager. I look at like through adults' eyes. I was like, and my parents have no idea. They don't know.
They don't know you were down in a field somewhere one night, like of alcohol poisoning.
They know like 3%, like any parent should. And I probably know 3% of what my kids did too, or maybe 5%. You don't want to know it all, right?
You don't. They got to live life.
When I was, when you're 40 and you've got your own teenagers and you're like, oh. Yeah, and I was like, well, I was 10. They piss me off. They get on my last nerve. I think they're screwing up so bad they won't be able to tie their shoes in the morning. And I was 100 times a bigger fuck up than they are. Like,
dude,
it sucks. I would have my parents didn't deserve to have to raise me. Like, that's it. Like, it really would have been like the terrible thing to do.
Well, I was always like this.
My heart was big, though. I think I was always a good person, but man, I was not like.
I just never when my kids came to me and said, I want to be the president of Alaska, I never went like, you can't do that. I was like, well, if you want to do it, and obviously president of Alaska, they didn't say that. But they said, I want to do this. I'm like, well, if you want to do that, then you'll work hard for it and you'll make it happen. If you don't, you don't.
I like to keep like, hey, I want you to do whatever you want to do, chase your dreams, be you. Like, but if they come to you when they're 6 and they're like, I'm going to play football at LSU, you can say, that's a fun thing to think about. Like,
right? Yeah. When you're super young and you're like, I want to be a pilot, and you're like, gonna be too tall. You're gonna be way too tall for that. Don't worry about it.
I like your dad, a bit of pragmatism, and you're like
He was.
like because where
No.
else is a kid gonna get that from? Because a kid,
The greatest story ever. Like Jeffrey and me and I think Jonathan. We were all in a band and we were like 15. We're in my room and we're talking about life. Like we're giving up. Me and Jeffrey and Jonathan are in my room.
deep.
We're getting deep, and Dad's in the other room, and he hears every word we're saying, right?
yeah.
And I don't remember what we were talking about, but it had to be the dumbest shit on the
Well, yeah, we're
planet.
3 15-year-olds.
Yeah,
right?
we're 3 15-year-olds. And my dad opens
know.
the door, and he goes, "You boys don't know shit about shit." And then he just closes the door and walks off. And it was so great because
At 15, I
Jeffrey
thought that's hysterical. Yeah.
Jeffrey tells that story all the time, and it's so funny because we can't remember what we were talking about, but we know it was some really dumb shit.
Yeah.
And my dad just had to be like, "You guys don't know shit about shit."
It would be great to go look at that 30 years later and see like, and then
What were we
if
talking
y'all heard
about?
the conversation, like, wait a minute, we were right about everything. Holy, we're
right.
literal geniuses.
Yeah, that's
or
right.
you can listen
Or-
to it and go, God, we were
God,
fucking dumb.
we
Holy
were
shit, we were dumb.
so stupid, and I'm pretty sure it's on the stupid part. I'm pretty sure we were just talking about something. I don't even know what we were talking about, but he was just like, "Y'all don't know shit about shit,"
Yeah.
and just closed the door. My dad's great. My dad. It's hard growing up with a cool dad.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
cool. Yeah, the cool
like
dad.
dad's cool. He's like a cool guy, and he's big.
So y'all talk.
and he's cool.
Did y'all, did
He's
y'all
a
like,
cool
did y'all
dude.
like talk when you were a kid? Like, about shit?
Like, I mean, we talked. We had a great time, like watching
he
like
know,
Saturday
like-
Night Live, and
Yeah, see, I did stuff
no,
like
there was one time we had a talk where he's like, "I know you're having sex with that girl," and I was
Were
like,
you?
and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, I can tell your body language, and when y'all are together." He's like, "You better watch that shit, because you're gonna get into trouble. There's gonna be some problems.
See, my dad.
So you got to
my,
wrap it up."
my dad wouldn't
Or-
want to breach that.
But he was,
subject.
he was like, "I know you're having sex with that girl."
We never.
And I was like, "Oh shit, Dad knows."
Did you talk? Did you? I thought we were the generation. You're Gen X. Like I don't think any Gen X got a sex. Did you get a sex talk? Nobody got
No,
a sex talk
no,
at
I
our
didn't. I
age.
didn't get a sex talk.
Hell no.
No.
I got a book. I
No.
told you about my book, right? The my mom got me.
No, tell it.
I didn't tell you that. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell
So,
me about the book.
okay, so I brought some Playboys and stuff to school. Blah blah blah. I got suspended for having pornography. So when in 6th grade, so when you're 11, so get home. Obviously, your parents are wondering, like, oh gosh, what's going on? It's just a normal thing for a kid, right? So since they didn't want to have to talk to me about it, which I don't blame them, because who the hell does? I mean, I didn't want to talk to my kids about it either. You just got to like stick your feet out there and go for it and have the damn conversation at some point. They didn't want to, so they bought me the. My mom came in with a book called "The What's Happening to My Body Book for Boys." And in the What's Happening to My Body book for boys, there would be pictures of your genitalia growing throughout the growth stages, spots with hair, stick drawings of vaginas and penises, and then, you know, it was about a little 12-chapter book, 15-chapter book that would just kind of guide you through, like, hey, you're going to want to play with that thing at some point. It's perfectly normal. Hey, this is what your wiener will look like in stage 2. Probably at age 12 or 13, you could measure your progress. And then it had little charts, which actually...
Are these little charts? It had charts
Yeah,
for
I
your
found
wiener?
It. I found it. It said I actually found the book a few years ago in my parents' in their attic or something, and I had where you drew on it. It would be like September 12th, 1989. 12 years old, whatever. And then I would be like, I'm currently in stage 3 according to this graph. And you draw like a picture of the wiener over on stage 3 with like a few pubic hairs. And then,
Oh my
and then it would be
God.
like, and then I would just have little notes like,
That was way too much.
yeah, I had little notes where I'd be like 5'2", 117 pounds, 3.5-inch wiener. And then like 4 months later, you could look at it and be like 5'4", 128 pounds, 4-inch wiener. And at some point, probably that would have been when I was 12, and I know that I think a lot of the reason for a lot of my things that happened in my youth is so the next year, by 13, I was full grown. Everything right now from my toe to my ears are exactly like it was at 13.
Really?
Nothing is. I was 6'1". I was 180 pounds. I was completely gone through puberty all the way. So I hit puberty very early, like 10 or something. So like I'm done with puberty at 13. So I just grew early, matured early, and I think that was a big part of my problem.
Dude, I didn't mature early at all. Like I was in my 20s when I matured. Like
I don't mean like mentally
like
matured.
no, I'm talking about tall. Like I had a growth spurt from like 20 to 24 where I was a little tiny kid.
Yeah.
And then I was married and hit a growth spurt and was big and then got big and then my face got wide and then I got broad shouldered and and all kinds of stuff. But I was a little tiny puny kid up until I was 21 years old.
Oh no, man! Like in eighth grade, I was full grown. Like I was a grown.
Yeah,
man.
I was not.
I had the same amount of armpit hair I have now. Had the same stomach and chest hair, which is almost none. But
I barely have any armpit hair now.
But the same ones I had at 13, I have now. Yeah. And nothing's grown.
That's wild.
Wild, huh?
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be like 6'7" with like a 10-inch penis.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Who wants a 10-inch penis?
Well, when you're 13, you know.
Your wife.
Yeah.
That's who wants a 10-inch penis.
She's shit out of luck. Oh, we can do it 3 times.
That's right. It's not the size, it's the motion of the ocean, says every small dick guy on the planet.
Yeah, that's right. That's the same people who say, money doesn't create happiness.
Money's the great equalizer when it comes to small penises.
Only rich people say that, right? You go find a guy right now, super depressed, in a domestic abuse situation with his wife, can't feed their children. Everybody's pissed off. They're throwing stuff to the wall. Walk in there and say, "Hey man, I'd like to give you $10,000 and see if the mood of the house changes." I guarantee you that money can, in fact, buy happiness.
Money can, in fact, it's a good down payment.
Yeah. Now it can't sustain happiness. I don't.
Now a lot, like way too much money, would be terrible. No, it wouldn't be. It would be great. It would be great.
So who says that also?
Nobody.
Rich people.
No, rich people.
Say,
I don't like, I can...
More money, more problems.
Yeah, right. Yeah, more problems. You got to pay like your accountant more problems.
Now try this and say, hey, look, I genuinely care about people and I would never want you to be burdened. If you feel like you have $5 million too much or $10 million too much, you can give me that excess amount and you won't have that stress anymore. And see how many yeses do you think you'll get?
None.
You get none.
You get zero.
So what does it tell you? That what they're saying is unqualified horseshit.
Yeah, right.
Like I think it's part of the manipulation tactic. I think it's something they teach you in elite school.
Well, I think money...
Like, hey, pretend you don't like this.
Money is... Yeah, right. Exactly.
Write a song about how bad this sucks.
Write a song about how bad money it is to have money so people that don't have money won't feel so bad. They'll be like, I'm going to listen to this song because I got no money.
I don't have money either,
just like this guy who...
He's
a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. What was I going to say? The money thing is like this. You don't have money, so human beings go, oh, well, money's not everything.
Nope,
if you don't have money, money isn't everything because you got none of it. Then when you have money, money is everything because you end up chasing your money around trying to keep it.
When they say
it's just ridiculous.
The thing that elite level of money gives you is just the ability to not care about anything, right? Like, of course.
Well, those money problems.
Of course, yeah, but of course, money's not important if you don't have to look at bills anymore.
Then you got other problems when you're a billionaire, like how many girls am I gonna have sex with tonight, or like what yacht am I gonna get? Those are problems. Those are real problems.
Those are real problems.
Those are real problems.
I'm not saying rich people don't have, because rich people have problems just like everyone has problems, and money doesn't sustain happiness. But to say that money doesn't buy happiness, I think all that shit is like created to make poor people feel like okay.
Well, here's the fucked up thing is, like, if I had $10 million cash in the bank right now, I would still do the exact same thing I'm doing right now.
All my free time stuff, yeah.
All my free time
but
stuff.
But not your work time stuff. I bet it would change a little, even if you stay in the same.
No, like if somebody gave me $10 million right now and I stuck it in the bank, then I would learn how to live off of that 10 million without really
Which is not
touching
hard
it.
to do. You
which
wouldn't
is
have to,
not.
doesn't take a lot of learning to do. It's
I
pretty
mean,
easy.
you could
10
probably
million.
live off of 5 million, pretty, like the way I live.
Probably 2
in
million.
this
the way
little
we
tiny
live, yeah.
house. Yeah, maybe 2 million, and I would just like do what I do, which is record music in my little studio and watch TV when I want
And podcast when you want.
podcast when I want.
But when
and,
would you
but
answer,
I
would you
wouldn't
answer the phone ever about somebody's fucking route?
fuck no, I wouldn't answer the phone. I would probably throw away my phone. I wouldn't have a cell phone if I had if I had the money.
And fuck you money.
If I had fuck you money, I would never have a cell phone ever again. I'd throw the fucking thing away. I don't need it. Because I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna live my life, and I'm not gonna show people how awesome my life is.
No, but the cell phone is just such a source of entertainment for me. I don't like that. But see, but I like more like I like to watch concerts. I like to watch videos. I like to watch comedy stuff. And I watch it.
I got YouTube for that, and I can watch it on my television.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I'm so like addicted to my phone.
Yeah,
And, in my downtime.
I'm trying not to be addicted to my phone. You want to know the reason why I'm not addicted to my phone? Because my phone is a work phone, and it rings 100 times a day. No joke, it's 100 times. I answer emails on it. I have an iPad right here. I have an iPad for work that I do work on, and if I didn't have to do any of that, I wouldn't have any of it. I wouldn't even have a phone.
But you just have your computer.
I just have my computer,
See,
and I have my TV where I could look at funny YouTube videos.
But my phone's replaced all that. I don't even use a computer except at work, and I barely use it at work. Like everything is like my.
I like to use a computer. Like behind me right here, these computers. I got 3 computer screens right here, and I use it for work, and I also like to use it to when I'm painting miniatures. Which, by the way, I've been painting in miniatures and selling them online. So if anybody wants me to paint any like 40K like Warhammer 40K miniatures or whatever, you can get in touch with me at hinkle100@yahoo.com.
Or you can DM us right here on TikTok.
Or
We'll
you
put
can
this clip up.
Or you can DM me on TikTok. Let me go. I'll go grab one. I'll go grab one.
Hurry
Hold
up.
on.
And we'll make this part 2. This will be part 2 of the video. So these are the miniatures he paints. Like
this is actually a really big
this
one.
Shit is so cool.
This one's I don't know if you can't even see it, but like these Warhammer things, and I do like.
You can see it, yeah.
Can you see it pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
So like I paint these Warhammer things and sell them, and I've been selling them to a lot of people. And if you want me to do them, I'll do them.
Awesome.
So just get in touch with me. And the new Leviathan box. If you want me to paint one of those, buy the box, send it to me, and I'll paint the whole thing, and then we'll talk about price, and I'll send it to you. But you got to buy the box, or I'll get stiffed with the box, and then I'll just have a bunch of Leviathan boxes.
How many have you sold so far?
I just started doing. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I just was painting them for me because I love to paint. And then the Warhammer 40K Leviathan came out, and I started painting those, and I just started selling them. So I've sold about a box of Leviathans.
Damn.
But I've never tried to sell them before. I just sell them on eBay. So but if you go to like a here, I don't know if this is picking up what you're throwing down.
It'll pick me up, yeah.
But just get in touch with me on here or whatever if you want me to paint something for you for any kind. It doesn't have to be Warhammer. It could be anything. It could be D&D characters, your own painted characters or whatever, and we'll talk about it. But the thing I found out is like there are these companies that will paint these for you, and it's like $3,000 to paint
a box?
the box.
That seems
right.
right.
And it seems about right, but it's got like
How many pieces is it?
Oh shit, like 200 pieces or something
Barely
like that.
$125 a piece.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not 200. I don't know how many it is, but it's a lot. I'm not going to do it for that much because I like to do it. But the other thing is I'm also not painting them. I'm not taking 10 hours each on these things.
Like 3 hours.
Like
though, 2?
I'm taking about 4
hours
on them.
So it could be a box could take you 800
So-
hours.
Well, it could. So
$3,000, like that seems.
yeah, but that's a lot. I mean, I'm just if you get a Leviathan box is $250. I'll paint them all for you. Probably you
What is
buy
the
the
Leviathan
box.
That's for what's Warhammer. It's
Warhammer
game?
40K. It's the newest game that the newest iteration of the game that
it's
came
not
out.
a computer
I don't
game.
even play Warhammer.
What do
I don't even play it.
What do? You play it on a board or something?
On a 4x4 tabletop. It's
Okay.
just like a game
The
where you
war?
put these things down and then you
like
roll.
chess, kinda
You
like
roll
advanced
dice. You
chess?
roll dice and
Like,
like
so it's
yeah,
D&D
it's
and
like
chess meets
yeah,
a
it's
war
all
meets
that.
yeah.
It's all that. And a lot of people are into it now, and I really like painting, and I paint with like I have like airbrush. I do airbrush
It
stuff.
looks like a pipe.
Yeah, but it's an airbrush. I do airbrush, and
It's
then
like you
I
keep your weed in there, man.
right. But it's like painting like these things is like the pinnacle geek thing to do. It's like the biggest geekiest thing you can possibly do when it comes to tabletop games.
Bunch
is
of
paint these.
goddamn nerds.
Bunch of nerds. But I am a nerd, so like I do it.
You just got your ass
just-
whipped. A bunch of goddamn nerds. If it was me, I would do something about it.
That's right. But
You couldn't
but
play
I
that
enjoy
movie.
it.
Would that movie play? You think you could get away with making Revenge of the Nerds nowadays?
No, I don't think you could.
Remember they like
think
snuck
you
in and like stuck cameras in the girl's thing and were like they put the bush.
There's a lot of
they put
things
the
you-
bush at the bottom of the pie. They made the pie and it was her bush at the bottom. And I don't think you could.
You can't do any of that
There's
anymore.
no movies with good crude humor anymore. What happened to good?
You know what the
crude
last
humor?
one was? You know what the last one was?
American Pie.
No. Tropic Thunder. I mean,
God, that's been 100 years ago.
that's the last one they did where you could be like that because Robert Downey Jr. was in blackface.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. did blackface. Does everybody like not remember that?
Ted Danson did blackface at an event when he was dating Whoopi Goldberg. Remember?
Are you serious? I didn't know about that.
We were kids. And
Do we have to look that up on the snazzy computer?
yeah, look it up.
Let's look it up.
It's like in the 90s. Remember? Are you old enough to remember when Ted Danson was dating Whoopi? You'd have been like in high school, maybe.
Let's see what's up with that.
Because I was probably, I don't know, 15 or 16. So you were like 13 or 12.
Yeah.
So you might not have been paying it. So but at those ages you're paying attention. Like a 15-year-old.
You think they scrubbed it from the? Oh my god!
No, it's total blackface.
Which one of these is it?
Any
No,
of them. You
that's
can pull.
Howard-
They're all of them.
That's Howard
And he did it
Stern.
at an event with Whoopi.
Look, it shows. Look, there's a Howard Stern in blackface
Yeah.
as Ted Danson and Whoopi. Oh my god!
It's crazy how these holier and then all
We'll
these
probably
people are
get kicked
holier
off
than thou,
YouTube
right?
Just for talking about it, I don't
Piss
see
on
it.
that. There's
It's been.
you just saw it though, right? You just the top thing was it, wasn't it?
No, it's Howard Stern. Like you put, it says Howard Stern in blackface as Ted Danson and Whoopi.
Ted Danson in blackface, the second one. That's it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So this is
And-
what we do. We go like this,
Then they could see it back there.
and they can hear it too. I don't know what it's saying.
Holier than thou.
There it is.
You got
looking
him?
at it? Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't even know what it sounds like. You may not hear it, but
And look at Whoopi just laughing it up,
Just
and then she's
laughing
like,
it up.
now she's like, oh, offended by everything. Everything bothers her. She's just so.
yeah.
That's how the whole fucking world is.
Yeah, but she also knew that. Like
so
Ted Danson wasn't a
Why don't we
racist.
make it? Why don't we
But
make
it-
it comedy?
but
Why
she
don't we
said,
make it
like,
comedy.
Ted Danson wasn't a racist. Like she knew his intentions.
Yeah, that's my thing.
and
though.
that's his thing.
It's
but-
not a big problem, but everybody makes everything a big problem. It wasn't a big problem, but now she wants to be. She's so holier than thou that she acts like I have a problem with everything, but she didn't. She thought it was funny when it was socially acceptable to think it was funny.
right.
That's my point, right?
Right.
Like
I don't think blackface is like a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing.
no, because it has.
But I think it is hilarious in Tropic Thunder because they're basically saying that in that
They're ironically
universe,
doing it.
ironically, like in that universe, he's the greatest actor that ever lived, and he went this pigment
Yeah.
transformation in a hospital that made his pigment darker
The reason-
to play.
the reason
which is so funny,
the reason blackface
and it's Robert Downey Jr.
But the reason blackface is offensive is because when you would have like old school blackface would be
That's offensive.
you would put on the blackface and they would do these stereotypical
Right.
old school like
Mammy-
yes sir,
like
master, I'm sure is
mammy-
a coming.
like
Yeah.
the mammy stuff.
Yeah, the mammy shit. Like, come on, like, okay, but and now it's just kind of like that word. It's become such. It's obviously no one accepts blackface anymore, right? But in 1992, he did it as an event. Whoopi knew where his heart was. No one had a problem with it.
Flash forward 2024 in Hollywood. Now it's like,
oh my God.
how dare this man that's not a paraplegic play a paraplegic?
Yeah, blackface.
That's like a way out of context, but you know what I mean. Like how, like Hollywood is like people get upset if a dude that's not a paraplegic plays a paraplegic.
How come South Park?
Obviously, black people should play black people, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. Native Americans should play Native Americans in
Yeah.
shows.
As much as
100%,
you can, but
100%.
I don't know about 100%. Like what?
So we're gonna have Tom Cruise play the Indian chief.
I'm just gonna tell you if I had a casting call of 100 people in '93, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
They suck.
I'm gonna tell you that. No, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Okay.
If we can do that in 2024, I think that's the problem. I think is everybody has a problem telling the truth. If I'm casting a movie, and for 100 people show up, 100 actors, okay. And
Right.
50 of those actors are Native Americans, and 25 of them are Hispanic, and 25 of them are white. And the Native Americans aren't really that good actors, and I find one of the Hispanics who's like, wow, this dude's incredible.
Right.
I wouldn't say, no, I'm not going to cast him because even if he's a better actor and he looks the part.
Right.
I
get that.
Yeah, I would cast the best actor even though he's Hispanic.
But people would be upset about that.
I don't think they would. I think they only would be if the nether truth.
I think the Karens of the world get upset.
I think
and
they
have something to say.
If they were white,
right? If they're white,
not if they were Hispanic.
I don't think.
If they were white, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Say the truth.
You're right. Oh, I am. Yeah. If they're white.
Like if I was to cast the white guy, I wouldn't cast the white guy because it wouldn't be true to form. It wouldn't probably be the best actor that looks the part. But a Hispanic guy could look the part. Like what's his name? Who played Richie Valens? Okay, who played Richie Valens? You know.
Well, I can look that up right now.
In La Bamba, 1987. Gosh. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Are you serious?
Remember Lou Diamond Phillips, right? Okay, now, is Lou Diamond Phillips, is he actually Hispanic? I don't think he is.
Lou Diamond Phillips, there he is.
Well, Wikipedia, what's his
Lou
race?
Diamond Phillips.
I bet it's not Hispanic. He's probably Native American. Right? Because he's believable as a Hispanic, Richie Valenzuela.
He is a Filipino American actor.
He's Filipino, right?
Right.
But he played Richie Valens, who's Hispanic, and no one had a problem with it or has a problem with it because the skin tone matches. Because it's not really a problem because they cast the best actor for the part.
Right.
And I think if you do now. But if you were casting a white guy for that part, if you got a white guy to play Richie Valens, to me, that's not believable. So that would be a reason to be
But they wouldn't cast you to play Richie
Valens.
Richie
but
Valens.
if they were to cast me to play somebody where it was believable, I don't think that's outrageous, right? If
Right.
they were to cast me to play a Russian, and
Right.
I'm not Russian, I don't think that's not outrageous. So
Yeah.
I just think people get offended.
You know,
about
Ray,
dumb
I've been in a couple of movies, and they cast me as, I'm a fat security guard.
corner number 6, right?
I was a coroner's assistant, fat coroner's assistant. For some reason, they cast me as these fat white dudes.
When you were in movies, though, you were
You know,
jacked as shit.
I was.
You were like bodybuilding.
The funny thing about being the security guard was I lost all this weight, and I had my casting people put me out there for all this stuff, and then they called me, and I went to get my shirt and everything to be in it, and it had foam in the stomach to make me look like a pudgy security guard. And I just was like, oh my God, I just lost all this weight to do all this movie work, and now you're giving me a shirt that makes me look fat.
Yeah, but it wouldn't.
Great.
It was an extra part though, so it wouldn't have.
It was background. I mean, it was blurry as shit.
Did you get any
everything.
You get a speaking part?
No speaking
Never?
parts.
You still gonna
No speaking parts.
Hey, we should go to Shreveport and get some parts.
We could. I could call up
50 Cent's got
Well,
50
here's
Cent's got a new studio.
here's the funny thing. The last time they called me about a movie was before the pandemic, and it was for Ant-Man and Wasp, because they shot all those Marvel stuff over in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, send us some stuff send us some pictures of you, blah, blah, blah. We got a good part for you. As like, I don't know what it was. It was like probably some like dude that wore weird security shit or whatever.
Ant number 87.
Like whatever. And then they were like, I sent them pictures of me and they're like, you need to lose about 30 pounds. And then call us. So I was like, oh, thank you.
When was that?
That was, so it was like 2019, 2020.
You haven't lost 30 pounds since 2020.
No, I haven't.
You started on the journey like 9 months ago?
I've been starting forever.
You went from 275 to what?
270.
That's good.
260. I'm back on the 270 range. I've really got to get after it. I really got to get after it. Just because I don't want to weigh this much.
Well,
but the problem is like I don't look 270.
Let's go. When you get to 240, we'll go to 50 Cent's studio in Shreveport. See if we can get a. They got to have a part for. They got to probably have some parts specific for white guys.
They got to where they're making fun of us or something. Yeah, 100%.
Or we're like shady
white dudes.
Shady record executives trying to take their money. And
hey man, sign the deal.
Yeah,
I could do that. I'd be like, hey, sign the deal. What's the problem? Don't worry about that. I'm gonna pay you.
Don't worry about reading it, bro. I got a blunt.
Yeah. I got some. Sign this. You get some.
Yeah, they'll make us.
You get a car. No, like what they did to.
Like Jewish record executives.
You know what they did to? Well, yeah. You know what they did to? We watched this. What was this show? We watched a show on TLC, and like they had a #1 hit song and record, and they gave them some RAVs.
Yeah, RAV4s.
They gave them some RAV4. They're like, here are your RAV4s, and they were like, yay! And it was like they're making $100 million, and you get a RAV4.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. That's
like,
so messed up.
That's like the 74 Cal Jam when Sabbath got paid $2,500 each.
Right. And they're touring.
Well, it was one day. So the manager just said, "Hey, y'all are playing Cal Jam tomorrow." And they're like, "Okay." And they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna get." And then they finished playing. They're like, "Hey, here's your $2,500." And they're like, "Sweet."
$2,500. Yes, we're playing music. And then we're living the dream.
And they found out they got paid $250,000 for their set. That's one day. That's one microcosm
of how the music industry
works. That works. They were like, yeah, we got. It was either $250,000 or $400,000. It was an outrageous amount for 1974.
Right.
And they got $2,500, which to them in 1974 was a real good individual payday, and probably got it in cash where they could buy some drugs. Yeah. And a RAV4 is what, $18,000-$20,000.
Yeah.
They gave all three members of TLC their own RAV.
Their own RAV. Woo! They got their own RAV. And they were on, everybody's listening to their music.
I think here's the #1 thing not understood from new artists signing record deals to me. This is what I think. I think the #1 thing that gets misinterpreted, and I still see it, I see videos some artists making videos and stuff, thinking they were screwed, but they weren't screwed. The money you receive if you're a new artist is a loan.
Yes, it's a loan.
They are not giving you $25,000.
No,
they're giving you $25,000 to finish your album.
Right.
Okay. They're giving you
$100,000
to finish your album, and here's $50,000 in tour support, and here's $10,000 for clothes, and here's $20,000 for equipment. So they've given you $200,000, but they
pay us back.
They haven't. You don't make a dollar if they put $50,000 in marketing. They want the $50,000 back before you get set #1. If they paid to $20,000 to record the album, they want $20,000 back. You didn't just. But a lot of the artists, they get this money and they don't understand. They think that that's part of the gig. I think they're like, oh yeah, and now they're saying, oh, all this money. You do.
Yeah.
You do owe the money.
No, that happened. That was what happened to us with the development deal. It's they give you money to record your album. Here, we spent $80,000 recording an album.
Now, back then, were they pretty clear telling you how what's going on? When they're giving you money?
Now, okay, so when we signed the deal, they said, here's money up front. And in the contract, it's you don't have to pay that back. It's called non-recoupable funds.
Those were non-recoupable.
Because we had two companies wanting to sign us. So we had Maverick and Warner Brothers, which was GarageBand.com, which was a Warner Brothers subsidiary. that Warner Brothers got smart and they made another subsidiary company of theirs called GarageBand and started like a whole thing where you would upload your music to the internet.
Yeah, I remember that.
And whoever got, like, people would review, like, if you logged on to GarageBand and reviewed bands, whoever got reviewed the most, it was just like a, hey, we need to find who people like.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we got reviewed and they liked us. So then you get kicked up to Warner Brothers, and then it's like, okay, then we played this show in front of 20,000 people. And then it was like we got phone calls that night from people that were like, hey, we want to sign you on Maverick, which was, I think, Madonna's label.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like GarageBand through Warner Brothers, and they were like, hey. So like to sweeten the deal, they give you money to sign.
Like
so
a
you sign with
bit.
them. So they go, hey, we're
Like
gonna
one-
give you everybody $30,000 to sign.
Was it that much?
Yeah. So
120,000 non-recoupable?
yeah. So like
90s?
yeah. So like they signed us, and then like non-recoupable funds.
That they were not
Pay that
you don't have
back.
to give any of
But
this
then we
back?
spent all this money. They did sue us. They did sue us later when we didn't come through with recording, finishing the album, and all that, because we had all these kind of problems.
That had to be in the
wor-
contract that it becomes recoupable if you do not deliver on the album.
No,
It
kept
ju-
the money.
It just said non.
Kept the money.
Did y'all
I
go to-
kept the money. I got a lawyer.
did y'all-
I kept the money.
Did y'all go to court or?
No, they did. They just washed it. They just washed it.
Yeah, I mean you got. I mean it's only 120, but they also
Yeah, they watched
had
it.
they give y'all any money to record or anything? Also on top of the 120,000.
Well, we spent a bunch of money recording, but then we never saw it. I mean, I don't know who they paid.
Well, they paid somebody.
They paid somebody.
That's what they're suing you for.
Yeah, they paid somebody.
They're probably out another 40 or 50,000.
Then
right?
they figured they couldn't just then they were like, oh, we're not getting anywhere with these guys. They're like in the wind.
Yeah.
So they just wrote it off. Apparently,
Yeah.
they had a lot of other things going on with us too, and we didn't show up for it. So we fucked them all pretty good.
Yeah.
So then we can never get in the music business again.
Certainly not with them.
Not with them.
Change your name, maybe.
Yeah. All right. What's next? 56.
Episode 56. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace.